that's just my style. So sometimes but I'm like, can you just stop talking? But that's just who I am. So I will be asking questions because I like to learn and grow, and I also like to share and contribute to the overall success of the school in general.
Beautiful.
Looking forward to it, guys.
Thank you and welcome.
Told you it was a good fit.
I know we're waiting for a member from Hardwick to be selected, correct? Is that in the process?
Well, I put in the letter to the select board, and I have not heard back. Crystal thinks there's someone who might be interested. I have not heard any updates on that. I'll let you know when I do.
Thank you.
I did speak with the town clerk and he said there were no updates either. I just spoke with him a couple days ago.
Okay. We also have a new additional student representative, Anna Metcalf.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself, and thank you for stepping up and being part of? And we know Ella's second year coming back, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So welcome, and can you tell us about yourself?
Okay. My name is Anna Metcalf. I live in New Braintree. At Quabbin, I'm involved in the music department and the drama club. I do the musicals and chorus, and I'm part of Tri-M. I've been a competitive dancer I've been dancing for 11 years or 12 maybe, and then competitively dancing for 5 years. And I'm applying for National Junior Honor Society, or not Junior, National Honor Society. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm very grateful to be here.
Thank you very much. And we'll hear from regarding what's happening in our schools from our student reps. So we'll go right to the agenda. The first thing is the consent calendar, dealing with approval of minutes from the August 14th meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Dave Deschamps. Yep, seconded. We have our school committee members are here, so we don't need to do a roll call. We can do it as a whole, as a group as a whole. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions?
Abstain.
1 abstention, 2 abstentions, 3 abstentions.
3 abstentions.
Thank you. We'll go right to the Student Advisory Council. Over to Anna and Ella.
Awesome. So do you just want us to talk a little bit about our start of the school year and then maybe we'll get to lunch? We'll put lunch last. Okay. Let's see. So for me, Unified, we started up last week. So I've had a great time with that, and also should talk about that too. But we're really excited, already having a great season and tons of new faces. We have our first game. It's a home game in October. So I don't know, maybe I could send you guys out the date if you're interested in coming, because we love to have you.
We can.
I will. That would be great, because it's always great to have you guys there. As for ROTC, it's nice because I'm a junior, so I have more responsibility. So I just took on a role as the public affairs officer. So now I make a newsletter and we send it out to the families. So that's exciting. I'm about to send out my second one, just needs to go through final review. And I'm also a squad leader, which is super cool. We just had NS1 orientation, which was great. It was great to meet all the freshmen, to get them oriented into our unit, and that's been awesome. And then we have basic leadership training next week, where I'm a cadet aide, which I think is super cool. And we're going to go off to Newport Naval Station for 4 days and do that. So I'm very excited about that. And that's been my start of the school year.
Sounds great.
Yeah, like Ella said, I'm also part of Unified Basketball and then Unified Track in the spring. And I've been going to those practices. Those have been going great. And then the musical rehearsals just started too, which is in November. Shrek, very fun show. That's been going great. We were also both a part of Link Crew.
Oh yeah.
And the first day I'd say it went pretty smoothly, transitioning all of the freshmen into their high school classes. And other than that, let me think. Oh, student council, I'm a part of that, and that will be starting soon with meetings. Everything's been running smoothly, I think.
All right, and then we can get to lunch. So yeah, let's start. Okay, so it has gotten better. Like the first day was absolute chaos. Like the lines were long. There was like, I don't even think there was any middle schoolers at the lunch, but somehow it was packed and loud. And I was just like, oh my goodness. Anna and I are like going and hiding in a little table. But it did get better. I think, I don't know exactly what was done, but I know they did like a lot of switching which teacher had which lunch, and that helped to spread out the crowd a little bit. The lines are fairly long. Like I myself wouldn't get in the line until like 15 minutes of lunch has gone by because they're just so long and I don't want to stand there with my backpack.
And you have a half hour for lunch, correct?
We have what, 25 minutes?
Yeah, 25
But
minutes
the
to half an
bells are
hour.
weird.
Because of the way that we get let out, it's a little bit weird because I'd say the biggest issue for me is how long the lunch lines are. I've been bringing my lunch from home, but I know some people who go into the lines and they're at the end of the lines, they don't always make it to get their food in time enough to sit down and eat it fully.
Like they'll get their food, but then they'll have like, I don't know, scenes sometimes where it'll be like 7 or 8 minutes left and it's like, yeah, so.
Wolfing it down.
And our lunch got switched a couple times in the
Yeah.
first week. We've been to every single lunch and I would say they're all pretty bad.
Well, thank you for the
No, no.
feedback. I could do it.
Yeah, that's what's been going on. I have absolutely.
How's the food?
The food is good. I would say the same thing that I said last year. Maybe there's not very much variety. It's kind of the same thing every week. Yeah. And then.
So you know, just thank you for sharing that, but also even at the subcommittee level earlier, that discussion is quite relevant. So the administration, and we'll hear more on that as well. But it's
That's-
very good to hear the student voice on this. But you opened with, it's getting better.
It is getting better.
Definitely.
It really is, which is good. Like it's not great, but it's not as bad as it was. I would also say that maybe one of the problems that I've seen is like people getting up there and forgetting their codes and then they have to search up the name. And so then that takes forever because they have to say, well, what was your name? And then they whisper their name. It's like, I just want my lunch.
Because we're still getting into the new year and getting into the groove of getting into line and going through and putting your pin in, and the lunch ladies are getting into the transition of serving all the kids and dealing with the chaos of the lines. But it is definitely getting better.
So then would you say then the step to ask for the number is a factor to why it's delayed?
Yeah, I would say that, especially when I'm at lunches with middle schoolers, like they don't know their codes. And that takes a little practice with my kids.
Yeah, so, I mean, I can appreciate the food part, but the other part is, it's a social time frame. Exactly. I mean, there's a half hour, these kids, I mean, we're taking their cell phones away. I think we're still doing it. I assume we're still doing it. And this is what we're looking for, that there's a social time frame that kids can sit down and talk to each other and catch up with each other. You know, maybe they don't see each other, a friend, through the whole school day. Because they have different classes or whatever, and now they're sitting across or next to them at the dining table, and it's like, they can catch up, they can go through some stuff. I mean, the food part, I get, obviously, it's not good, but to me, the social aspect is really, that's something we're really missing. If kids are sitting and standing in line for 15 minutes, they wolf down their food for 7 or 8 minutes. And unless they're talking with their mouth full of food, they don't get to chat with anybody. I mean, to me, that's almost the real shit.
Unplug and unwind a little bit.
Yeah,
And I didn't share that in the subcommittee.
Yeah, your points is so relevant, and you'll hear more
Perfect.
soon. Out of 2, where administration is well aware and want to see what they can do to resolve this, so.
I would also say, and this isn't lunch, but the phone policy so far has been much stricter. Would you agree? Like, I would say that all of my teachers have it right at the door, and they haven't been checking, which is fine because nobody's had their phone out, because otherwise they know, like, sent off to the office, like you're done for the day. So that's been good. Hopefully it'll continue. I think last year was a little bit of the same thing, and towards the end of the year, it got a little
Slacked off.
slacked off, right? But so far,
What do you like not having them there?
yeah, I mean, I wasn't really on my phone anyway.
How about the culture? Is the culture welcoming it, warming up to it, the students,
Yeah, I mean,
colleagues?
oh, sorry.
Oh, no, it's fine. I agree with Ella. I feel like there's been a lot more reminders to put our phones up, and as if it's right at the door, I remember to do it easily. And I know in my math classes, it'll be like you trade your phone for a calculator, which I find very helpful.
That's one.
I don't really have anything else to say about
I'll
the,
trade you a book for a calculator, absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A pencil for a pen, absolutely.
I would say the culture with the students, like, I don't know, people have just accepted it. It's not new. It's not, oh, we can't have our phones. What if I need to call my mom? Like, there's really none of that anymore. It's just kind of, I don't know, you put your phone up, you're done until the end of class.
So that's the big piece, is the organization and structure of the lunchroom to not only be able to get food, but also the socialization and the time for you to be interacting with your
Mhm.
peers. Friends.
Actually, so could you kind of remind me again, what is the current school policy on the cell phone compared to, I don't know, last year?
So I think it's the same as last year. In the middle school, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're not allowed to have it at all until lunch. Is that what the middle school is? Okay, but for the high school, you can have it pretty much anytime that's not class time. So from class time, you're not allowed to have it, but you can have it in the halls during passing time and at lunch. That's what the policy is.
It wasn't enforced as well as we would have liked, maybe
Right.
across the board last year, so I think we've had some good discussions and.
We also got a
Yeah.
grant. The administration was looking at various ways to do it with the support of the school committee. So, and we wanted to make sure too, over the past couple of years, for student representatives to be able to know the culture,
Mhm.
the voice, the understanding, and they're part of the decision-making process too. Nice. Any other questions for Anna and Ella? Thank you
All right, thank
very much. Go right into administrative reports, superintendent of schools.
So hard to follow them, but I'll try. So as you know, I put a lot, we all as directors put a lot in there, so I'm just gonna highlight some of the important things. So we have started to schedule our municipal meetings. You remember last year, that was a new initiative to increase transparency, trust, and communication with our 5 towns. We hosted 4 municipal meetings. We're going to have our first one on October 29th. You are
Okay.
welcome to come. Jess will send those dates out to you. But in October, we sort of do a where we're at now with our budget. This is the budget we landed on, and what are the things that have happened over the summer and up to this point. So our municipalities know kind of what we're dealing with. Sometimes there's staffing changes and impacts to the teacher budget, to the district budget. I put each of these outlined under the goals in our strategic plan, so that's why they're kind of bucketed. I included in here for you links to the presentation that I shared and our keynote speaker shared. It also outlines the goals for our teachers in the district this year. Out of our regional agreement, I think, Mark, you're going to talk a little bit about that. But we've been still working with DESE. We are super, super close to the very final edits within the document. The last thing they wanted us to do, and if you've been part of the regional agreement, I think you'll agree with me that this was a little bit muddy. They asked us to really call out what happens in a town-owned building when there's a capital expense, whether it's emergency or otherwise, and then what happens in a district-owned building when there's a capital expense. Everything else they had no issue with. They just really felt like that could have been much clearer. We're anticipating that document back within the next week, and then we'll hold what will be the last of our regional, hopefully, the last of our regional agreement meetings, and we can bring those to town meetings for the towns to vote on. The other thing I just wanted to highlight for you, we have a lot of upcoming deadlines for different things that we're required to do, and some of them are new. We are being audited for our English learner services. The next piece of that is due on November 1st. Also, this is something you may see in your MASC newsletters. So I like to just keep you updated as to what it really means. But they added some new vocational admissions policies. So that was something that was voted on last year in the legislature. But there are requirements for schools like us because we have a regional agreement with our municipalities rather have an agreement with regional vocational schools. So Monty Tech and Pathfinder. And that means that we have to create a transparent process for what they're calling middle pathways exploration. So in the past, Monty Tech would come pick our students up in a bus. They'd bring them there for a day. They'd come to the cafeteria. They'd tell the kids a little bit about their programming, different things like that. We just actually have to codify that process and submit that to the Department of Education. The other thing is the competency determination policy. If you remember, last year we had to develop a new one as MCAS went away as a graduation requirement. And they're still making us do another revision because they don't want MCAS to be included in the competency determination policy. I wanted to bring your attention to something that impacted some of our students at the beginning of the school year. So for the past several years, the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education has offered to all schools across the state of Massachusetts the opportunity for students to take STEM AP courses through them for free. However, their funding went away and they pulled back on that opportunity. AP reached out to us, said, we think we can still serve your kids. It's going to cost you this much money. So I said, let's pursue it. At the time, it was in June, and it seemed like something we'd be able to do. They told us it was $425 a student. However, in August, the amount changed. So they were saying it was $425 a seat. That seat, even though it was one student, there was a fee for fall semester and spring semester. Also, because our guidance department had offered out to our students the whole AP catalog, which was like, you know, we just had twice as many students selecting more than 2/3 of opportunities than we had before. So our guidance counselors went back, they met with the students that had hoped to take a VHS AP course. It meant that some of the students had to give something up. So we have students who are involved in the band program, NJROTC, and AP classes. And so some of our students are unable to take band because the AP class they need is happening during that block. Miss Brown, as you can imagine, has been really gracious, and she has offered an opportunity for them to still be able to perform with the band. And she's worked with the teachers to let them know if there's ever a time where the kids are kind of doing homework and you can send them down. You know, we welcome them basically at any time. So unfortunately, it really happened, you know, at the start of the year. The kids were hopeful that they would have these VHS opportunities, and we just felt like we couldn't make it happen this year. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention because you may hear it on the street, and I never like you to be surprised by that. I've spoken to several of the students just because I wanted to check in. I know Whitney has made personal phone calls home to the families. They've been able to do some different things. We had one student who's taking an additional early college course, things like that. But we'll have a better plan for next year because we probably will not get the funding. But I've already met with the guidance department, and I think we have a pretty solid idea of how to approach it next year. So,
Okay, and it wasn't a grant, losing a grant. It was the state, DESI, stopping it, not running it statewide.
yeah, I mean, DESI probably lost grant funding from the federal government, to be honest
Yeah,
with you. So
okay.
when you think of it as a
how
grant,
it
that's how
kinda-
it went, but it was open to everybody. It was not something you had to write a grant for or compete for. It was
And it was in the
just,
STEM world.
yeah. So at that time, they were really promoting students to consider careers in STEM. So those were the classes they
Including
were
STEAM?
focused on. No,
No, no,
STEM.
STEAM. Okay.
100%. Yep.
Yeah, I would say as somebody who took a VHS course last year, that was a really excellent opportunity for me. It provided me to take AP Calculus BC, which I would not have been able to take here. I loved it. I thought it was a great opportunity, and I know a lot of my friends were really excited for their VHS courses.
Yeah.
You know, like the band situation, literally one of the girls that I'm friends with in my stats class, she's like, yeah. No band for me my senior year, but yeah, I'm glad that you guys are, taking steps to help us, because that was a really great opportunity for.
It really was. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. The next thing on my list is the North Brookfield tuition agreement. So as I've sort of let you know, North Brookfield reached out about the possibility of creating a tuition agreement for their students. They are still quite interested. I've spoken to the superintendent. I've spoken to their gentleman who's running the task force. We have solid numbers now. So I feel like, and Mr. Brophy and I have talked about bringing this to the central office subcommittee, because that's not a decision I really want to make by myself as far as rates and whatnot. I feel like we should do some talking about that.
And Deb, would you be able to get a administrative central office get together within a week and a half or so?
Yeah.
What do you
I
think?
think September 29th would work.
Are you available
You
September
available?
29th?
At 4.
I am always available. Let me check.
You are, I already.
And then Mark-
Oh, just
Mark-
check, I am.
Well, Mark will also, from that there, this is again exploratory, and then we'll bring budget aware as well, see where we're at. But in August, I just want to tell you, I thank you for running the meeting in August. I couldn't attend. But Deb and I went with the superintendent in August to was it the study committee, a planning committee?
Task force.
A task force in North Brookfield. And again, Colleen kind of presented what Quabbin was about. So, not a sales pitch, but a reality pitch. I would call it. Would you? Like a reality?
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Presentation.
About what we're not
It really
getting.
was.
But again,
But it was how we could benefit each other and work together. It wasn't, it was welcoming them to the Quabbin community. When, I know we're 5 towns, but we always work together as we're Quabbin students and we're all Quabbin. So it was an approach that way. She was very open and transparent. She talked about a lot of the things we can offer, and she also, was very frank, like this will benefit us as well. So I think it was a great presentation. I think that they were surprised by it. It was kind of a unique experience in a way, because they kind of came in, we were in the
Can you see
senior
me, Matthew?
center, we weren't quite sure what the process was, and she did her presentation, and there wasn't a lot of questions until the end. She really warmed them up at the end and got them talking. And then we just kind of left, so we didn't really know what to expect or when we walked in or out. So I think she did a great job. And we'd love to work with them. We have a lot of their students here already, so.
be a tuition agreement, but again, it's in the beginning stages and it's about a process. So that's where, okay, the 29th,
Yeah, the 29th would be
what
great.
time?
4 o'clock.
does 4 o'clock work?
Mhm.
Okay.
So, Mr. Brophy, actually, can you give me some context in this? So what would be a benefit for the Quabbin district in general?
Well, I'll have the superintendent answer that question. I can tell you what we have done in the past, working with not only from program students. It's really about student focus. You know, it is a money thing. That's North Brookfield. It's a financial thing and everything else. And
That's coming from the.
spiral of declining
right.
enrollment. There's a lot
Yeah.
of perspectives. But I look at it immediately about opportunities for kids, programming. That's one of the biggest things that we advocate here for what we can do. But anything else of a benefit that you would?
To Quabbin.
Great.
So their school size is very, very small. So when their students are in elementary school, there are about 40 students per grade level, similar to Hubbardston, to be honest with you. So right now, as the kids transition up, their enrollment is greatly decreased. So I believe they have like 20 to 25 students in the senior class, and I think it's actually less in the junior class. So the numbers that would come in, a tuition agreement is basically Quabbin agrees to take the North Brookfield students into their district for a certain rate. So the numbers that this is what we need to do during subcommittee, but what I'm looking at is the numbers that they currently have and project are seats that we would have available for the students as our enrollment has declined. You would get more money than you get for students. I mean, it's up to you to set the rate, but we would be interested in getting more money per student than what you get for school choice. So I think just ran the numbers today, and we currently have 59 students from North Brookfield in our district already, but those students come to us at $5,000 a piece. A tuition agreement allows you to go up on that, on your rate when you accept those students in, but you accept them in for the life of their schooling career. And North Brookfield is still a little bit on the fence as to if they want to do a 7 to 12 tuition agreement or 6th grade to 12th grade or 9 to 12. So it's something we have to really look at and say, can we sustain this? So if over time, and you can do a tuition agreement for 3 years, just to sort of get their high school group through, or you could do it longer. They did indicate that they may be interested, or they believe they would be interested in possibly joining us in a regional agreement, but that's something that our 5 towns would have to really vote on and think about. So the benefit would be potentially increased revenues and filling some of our seats, especially at the high school level. And I think, our kids, we're not that far away from one another, and our kids sort of know them for various things. They dance together, they do these other things. And I credit North Brookfield for really hanging in and trying to offer their kids the best educational experience as possible. But for example, they may have the same English teacher for multiple years. Athletics, I think they have field hockey this fall and that's it. So I always think it's a benefit to us when we can expand and diversify our student body as well. So, yeah.
So that's. Okay. Thank you for scheduling that. So September 29th, 4 p.m. Okay.
It might mean, though, I feel like I should say this, I mean, we'll talk about it at subcommittee, but it may mean if we chose to take North Brookfield students on a tuition agreement, that we would not be able to accept as many school choice students. So I do want to just kind of put that out.
That's the normal map I would actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can talk further and build and all that, but again, from where North Brookfield is a large amount of students already have been intending coming to Quabbin for over the years of school choice.
So what would that do to the kids that already have been coming in as school choice? Are they grandfathered kind of?
100%.
100%. Once you're in, you're in.
Okay.
You can choose to leave.
But
That's
their fee would change,
Yeah.
right?
North Brookfield students, if North Brookfield students were in as school choice students and then we accepted them on a tuition, then that fee would change for the North Brookfield students, not for the others, choice students from other towns.
Okay, no.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And this discussion with the, transportation, how does that work? There's other pieces in a process.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
The other thing is also related to North Brookfield. So Jill and I met with their director of student services and their superintendent. We've had a few different conversations separately And then together with them about possibilities of shared programming, shared services, something we, what do you have that we don't? What do we have that you don't? Immediately we talked about language-based classrooms. They really were intrigued by that because they have some students who are currently out of district that they would be interested in possibly partnering with us on. And also we talked about the work that we've kind of done with credit recovery and maybe possible Saturday sessions. And so we talked about opportunities for that. That's our first initial conversation, but it went really well. And then the next thing, again, is one of those things that you may have seen either on an MASC newsletter or a DESE newsletter. There was like an advisory that was put out there, and it was about minimum aid. So if you remember through the process last year of budgeting, our initial amount of minimum aid was $75 per student, and then it went up to $150 per student, but it still had to go to conference committee. But we said we were going to gamble, so we gambled at the $150. We planned it into our budget, so we're all good. But some school districts didn't do that. They went at the 75, and now they're getting additional money, and they have to have another meeting. So I just wanted to put your minds at ease that we're good. And it all worked out. The other thing I just want to take a minute to talk about, because this is really exciting. We have over 300 athletes. I think it's around 320 for the fall season, which is a huge number of our students participating in fall athletics, which is an amazing celebration. As you know, our athletes train in our strength and conditioning rooms, and we have just one strength and conditioning coach. We have seen that and there's 3 rooms and 1 coach. So we have seen right now huge traffic through our strength and conditioning rooms. So we are meeting to talk about possibility of how to help structure that a little bit differently so that our student athletes can still have access to strength and conditioning, but also get the most effective use and opportunity there. So we've talked about things like, potentially having the students go to the media center after school, teams go first, and then the student athletes who are not in season use it later in the day. We've talked about, possibly adding another person to assist in the program, but we'll keep you up to date on that. But we're really trying to work that through so we can get that squared away pretty quickly
So you got a lunch problem there too.
we do. Again, it's a great problem to have.
It is a good
But it really is, we want it to be as effective as it possibly can be, right? So that's something that we're thinking about. And then the last thing, I know Dr. Allen isn't here, but I think you've all been copied on a couple emails from parents about asking about Sunday practices. And we do have a policy around that. So I just wanted to mention that to the policy review and reform, if that was something we wanted to think about. And that's it for me.
So Colleen, just congratulations to the people involved to get our kids the cross-country team down in Martha's Vineyard. And it seemed like there were a lot of moving pieces, but it would be easy enough for somebody to say, oh yeah, too difficult to do. And plus we don't really go there anyway. But for the kids to have that experience, to hit the ferry, go across there, be able to compete. I know they got monies from the fundraising they did. Just a really good show. Just, these little things that happen that really, I think, stay in the kids' mind for a long time.
Yeah, I do too. I also think the cross-country team is one of those teams that there's a lot of them, you know what I mean? And so they work together, but it's individual and yet team, and they don't sort of travel and compete in the same way that some of our other teams do. So I think it was a really nice opportunity for them to be able to do that. And I'm sure they had a great time.
Anything else, the superintendent, members? We have the director outlines as well. Are there anything that from the directors you'd like to comment on or give us any salient points that are Totally up to you, Superintendent, if you'd like.
I would just really quickly, I think the year is off to a great start. I've been able to get into all of the schools to see teaching and learning taking place. The teachers are very excited. Kids are engaged in activities and involved with one another. I did attend their open houses. So we had open house for preschool, elementary and middle high school. It was nice to see. It was funny actually in the middle high school to watch the parents walk around with their kids because they're like, you need to tell me where I'm going. I don't know where the classes are. Because the parents were going first, they just were kind of following behind, having one another. Like that's very typical middle high school. But it was also nice to see a lot of the parents of my former students from Parkway out at that as well. And then for the elementary, I did attend that open house as well. And it was, again, very nice to see the amount of parents and students coming back to school to show their parents their classrooms, everything, where everything was in the school. So they're very excited to be there. So it's been a really nice start to the school year.
Good. Director, Building Grounds.
Met with Pathfinder yesterday to discuss options for what they can provide us with press box, possible press box. Completely different scenario that we were for. See how we can make that work and where the numbers have come in yet. So I'm working with an engineer right now discussing foundation possibilities, etc. So I can go back and work with Pathfinder to come up with proper numbers.
That's a great.
That's great. And then, so the next one, I know for our buildings and grounds, how quickly can this thing get potential light to it?
I think you're looking at probably next fall.
Okay.
Pathfinder is saying it's a good time for us to start the process with them because they did have only one person that was running projects like this and just hired another. So we would be in the queue to go. It's just going to be a matter of us getting through the design phase on foundations, et cetera, getting approval and that kind of stuff like that before they could even do their work. He is giving me rough numbers, hopefully next week on material costs and that kind of thing. So we have a ballpark of where we're going to be, and then we can go from there. The boiler project in Hubbardston is complete at this point. Sidewalk repairs have been completed over there. The HVAC project under the USDA grant at Quabbin has been completed. We're actually in the phase right now of just getting the books back and working with National Grid on our rebates that we'll get for this project. There's a public hearing that's coming up that the state is running at Ocam Center School on October 16th with regards to the battery storage price. Other than that, that's about it.
Thank you. Questions?
Question, just, I just want to follow up on the donations for the press box. Is that something that, I know that at one point it was talked about that if nothing were to move forward, you know, ways of whether they went back.
We are really looking to use those donations
Yeah.
to fund the press box.
Try to miss any.
It will be a much, well, we anticipate it'll be a much less costly project. Pathfinder does the labor for free and they charge us for the materials and we would just have to do site work and engineering and whatnot. So we've been talking about it with them for about a year. So we're really glad that they're willing to help us. Hopefully it'll. Doesn't give us any extra seating, but it will give us a safer option.
You know what, maybe phases, maybe,
Yeah.
you know, down the road, we can look at that.
Director of Technology.
Just a review of some summer stuff. We have completed the Windows 10 to Windows 11 migrations, probably about 97% complete. We're just waiting on a couple of teacher laptops that were kept over the summer for summer school. So before the end of life for Windows 10, we will be migrated 100% over. So that was a big lift for this summer. All of our software databases for students are up and running for the start of the school year. Even though school just started, the October 1 SIMS reporting window has now opened and we have begun to clear out errors that have already occurred. So I have no doubt that that will be completed on time. We did receive some access points that we ordered through the E-rate program last year late in the summer. We were not able to get into the school in order to put them all up over the summer. So we're going to be doing that during off hours. Those should all be done before our next meeting. And at that point, all of our access points will be on the current version and should not need any upgrading for at least the end of the next school year. And so far this school year, just since the staff has come back, we have closed over 464 tickets.
Great. Any questions? School business, what, Administrator?
So before I forget, the warrants that we had since the last school committee meeting, we had 3 biweekly payroll warrants. Warrants 5, 6, and 7, weekly payroll warrants 9, 10, 11, and 12. Accounts payable warrants 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. I do believe that. Just need to read them. Okay. We just an update on the school business administrator. We interviewed one person. She's coming back tomorrow for a second round of interviews, and Cheryl Duvall is coming back to help us with those interviews tomorrow. So we're waiting to hear what she thinks. And the end of year report has been completed and uploaded, and I just started E&D today.
Good. Do you anticipate maybe the audit to be in October?
I do not, because
Okay.
I have not received the OPEB full valuation report yet.
Okay,
And I have not heard for about the Worcester regional numbers that we usually get. So if I'm hoping it's not as late as February as it was last year, but I actually emailed Craig last night and we still.
good. Director of Student Services?
So I'll just, briefly highlight the new alternative learning program that started this school year. We currently have 10 students in the program, with 11 starting on Monday, and it's gone very, very well. The students are attending regularly, and they have reported that they love the program and they enjoy coming to school. So it's been a really positive program, and I would encourage you, the pictures are on the paper, but they don't really tell the whole picture. So I would really encourage you all to go check out the program in Learning Braintree. I think they'll be impressed, and the students over there would enjoy seeing, outside faces coming in. So that's the thing that I'll highlight the most. We do have something that we're going to mention also in new business, but I got an email just on a listserv of Granby looking for any district who'd be able to partner with them for PT services, because they were not able to find a PT through contracted services or anything. Because our numbers for students right now are a little bit lower, we are able to contract with them. So that we know are coming with a contract with them. So our PT will be able to work for a day a week. So they'll be able to reimburse us for part of her salary, which will be helpful with us.
Right, which in a way, she's just talking about that with Granby.
Yeah.
That's one of our items this evening as well on our school, on the new business, is the sharing services with Granby Public Schools. We would have to do a vote on this momentarily, but I think if the committee doesn't mind, I think we can just weave that right now as she's talking about what is happening with this shared service. Is there anything else, Colleen, that you'd want to comment on this?
Yeah, so basically, the contract would be between Quabbin Regional School District and Granby Public Schools. It's an agreement to have the licensed physical therapist work in Granby 1 day a week, and they would pay 20% of her salary to Quabbin. We would bill them, they would pay us. What I do want to say about it is that I did speak to the QRTA because our physical therapists are members of our union. And they had a lot of questions. This is not something they like to typically do and see, but they certainly understood we're kind of in an unusual situation where, as we have a physical therapy assistant, our numbers are a little bit higher, they decreased. That they would be open to it. However, we need an MOA with them, which I did not want to do until you guys gave the go-ahead tonight. But the MOA would basically say that it was, a 1-year situation only, non-precedent setting, so on and so forth. And we would very carefully review our student numbers and the positions to make the right decision next year so that we don't have any extra time for our employees. This is not something we would think would continue. Also, the agreement with Granby says that it can either be canceled by us or by then within 90 days
There's no harm to the employee, no loss.
for no reason.
How does the employee feel about that travel?
She lives fairly close to Granby. So she said her commute to Granby would be similar to her commute to Hubbardson. She said, that, obviously Brian addresses the pandemic was only interested in, and she said yes, that she would be interested in doing that, so.
And there's another way around. They should make it a fourth, fifth, hypothetically a fourth, fifth position. But then you have somebody hired full-time and da. So it made sense that there was this opportunity with very clear that the QRTA is saying, okay, we can do this. We'll put the parameters around what we need to, and it's a 1-year thing. So kudos to also the association to say, hey, we can work too.
I have a question, and you're comfortable with, it doesn't take away any of the services to any of the Quabbin district kids, so there's that.
Yeah, I looked at all the numbers and kind of, she was able to kind of get like a mock schedules if she were to switch, like be out of the district for that 1 day a week, and we're still able to cover all the services in the grid. So, and again, and if we had a sudden, increase in services, then we would have the option of, the contract and book.
Any other questions? So, so a vote for have this, the administration move forward with sharing services with the Granby Public Schools with an MOA, no more than 1 year, with the support of the association. So, Second, okay. Any further discussion?
I have a question. So for the MOA, would that come back here for review, or is that something that's we?
No, we'll end up getting it.
Okay.
The chair can sign, so I could sign, but once it gets through the process, it's already, there's some boilerplate language, things like that. The association signs off as well.
We brought it to our legal counsel as first step as well.
And I put it in the drive so that if anyone wants to look at it.
Yeah, we'll be in the drive as well. And we've had agreements over the years, but this is a different one. I mean, we've had other shared services over the years, but not with a association number.
These are some of the types of things that we do try to focus and work with, and these are a lot of the things that the towns don't realize. That the finances forefront of the discussion, students have to come first in their needs, but we are mindful and trying to do everything we can and be as creative as we can, to work with other towns and support financially as well, so.
So any other further questions? All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Unanimous. And then on anything else on the end of the director reports?
Well, I just want to point off that our athletic teams are off to a great start, and we have our first home football game tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. So if you are interested and available, the pep band will be there. It'll be a very good time, and the weather's going to be nice. So it's a good night for football.
Good. Thank you. Now we'll go to, Gail, just so you know, just want to share this, that the superintendent perspective, previous superintendent had some shared with the directors, and Colleen has done this. So it's very nice that we can hear from the directors and have it. They're her staff. I mean, granted, it's her staff, and everybody here works this kind of collaborative way, the shared governance. So you may not see this in the districts where, the superintendent can do all the talking, and that's great. She can't, without problem. But in turn, she'll make it clear her perspective of leadership, the collaboration. So I wanted you to be able to see, live and breathe what we do here and here for our administration.
Yeah, I appreciate the structure.
Subcommittee reports, we took care of the central office, budget. I know there's an item for a budget transfer. So I think I can, with all respect, I can bring that right into the budget, kind of not a report, but right to the new business item.
Okay. Folks have, the FY 26 budget report number 3, the appropriation control report, which this refers to. And I have a motion for moving some dollars from one category to another. I will state the motion. Do you have any specific reason for the transfer?
The reason,
Just shortage of money?
right, the majority reason of the transfer is when we built the budget last year, we knew we had two bargaining units that were in negotiation. One was plant and facilities or building and grounds, and one was office managers. So what we did is we held what we thought we'd be giving him for an increase in a contingency account, which is in the 2000 series. So in order to pay the raises that we gave to building and grounds, we have to transfer it into the building and grounds. So that's the big reason for the transfer this time.
The motion I'll read. I move to transfer $57,038 from 2110-3200 regular education instruction support and $8,070 from 1100-1435 district administration and legal to 4110-4300 buildings and grounds to cover the FY 26 negotiated wage increases.
Is there a second? Okay, second.
Second.
Oh, second.
Any further discussion?
Was this not anticipated? When was the negotiation complete?
The negotiations were complete in the spring, but we had already put out the budget for the initial budget. So we kept them in the 2000 series at that point. So we negotiated, I think we finished in May, if I'm not mistaken. So we knew we were negotiating, we kind of estimated what we wanted to give them, so we just held it into like that, it's called a contingency account.
But ultimately, overall budget is unimpacted.
No impact to the budget. We had planned for it when we built the budget last year. We just needed to move it to the correct category.
Does that change anything for the categories it's coming out of?
No, the category is contingency, which is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then, yeah, so that's where the majority of the money came from. And then we had a little money savings in the finance that we put towards it as well.
Keeping things balanced and keep our appropriation reports right to where it needs to be. Any further discussion? All in favor?
We need a roll call.
Oh, I apologize. It's money. I apologize. Roll call. Thank you.
Mr. Deschamps,
Yes.
Mr. Willannon,
Yes.
Ms. Garvey,
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain,
Yes.
Ms. Muck,
Yes.
Mr. Moncour,
Yes.
Mr. Wiggler,
Yes.
Ms. Thompson,
Yes.
Mr. Nutter,
Yes.
Ms. LaRange,
Yes.
Chairman Brophy.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Let's see, collective bargaining.
Yeah, we'll have a subcommittee meeting with administration and brainstorm as to move forward. We'll have two bargaining.
Three. Right?
Paras,
Paras,
teachers,
teachers,
secretaries.
and
Secretaries.
secretaries.
Oh, secretary. But anyway, so that'll be for.
Buildings, grounds, safety and technology.
Yes, we had a meeting this evening. We talked a lot about meal period, the 30-minute meal period. Well, you guys said it was 25, I don't know, but anyway, it really doesn't seem to be a great solution because to fix the problem, it really would involve changing the schedule for the whole day. So, that I think they're gonna maybe see if they can tweak some things in there, but basically, it seems to be getting better, and I think you guys indicated that as the kids get used to where everything is and the whole procedure. I didn't even know they had to know a code, but maybe they'll get to remember their codes, they can write it on something. So that was that, and then we had a policy that we looked at that we got from MASC. And it turns out it was already in our guide, so we didn't have to change anything with that. One thing about this subcommittee, because technology is added to it, it's so many topics to discuss that we had to break it up into 2 meetings, so we're gonna do, today we did the food service and technology, and then probably before next month's meeting, we'll do the buildings and grounds part. Anyway, we did the tech stuff, and Andrew already really went over almost everything that we talked about. I mean, we talked a little bit about a few other things, especially some of the potential upgrades we're gonna need with new machines and so on and so forth, and maybe Andrew can speak to that better than I can. Anything else you want to talk about, Andrew, is fine.
Yeah, okay, so just as far as the machine upgrades and some of the stuff that we're looking at in the future, what we found with this Windows 11 upgrade is that we had 7 Windows laptops that were not able to accept the upgrade and had to have actual replacements purchased, and about 50 Windows desktops. We started looking into next year because some of our laptops are getting older, and we're looking to have to replace 130 laptops in the next 2 years alone, which is about, our estimated cost is going to be about $60,000 a year just in laptops for staff. So we talked about some ongoing costs, the continued Chromebook costs to replace every year. We do 2 grade levels every year. The aging phone system is a concern. The aging PA system is a concern. The bell schedule system, I believe, is original to the original school. So we have some outdated equipment that in the short term is going to be a rather large capital expense for those buildings. So that was really kind of where we focused our concerns for the future. We also talked about the phishing tests that we're doing and the cybersecurity training that we're offering to our staff last year and continuing to offer this year. If we wanted to expand it to school committee members, if they wanted to take any of the additional trainings, we can offer it to them. And we talked about some various cybersecurity and ransomware protections that the district has implemented in the past few years.
Thank you, Andrew. I think that's my report.
Good, yeah. I just want to add one thing, just to address Lee's concern to the socialization too at lunchtime. We did discuss this. We want to keep an eye on it just to make sure that the times continue to improve to allow the students a time to decompress at lunch, because that is important, especially middle school, high school. That's the only time that they get in that day. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a small opportunity here, like the numbers. We may not think about. I mean, it's a bottleneck with people not knowing the numbers, and that adds up. If you have 10 students,
Sure.
in 2 minutes each to remember, that cannot be. So if we can actually find a way to help them remember, I'm not.
Yeah, I actually wrote down a couple ideas. I think giving them their PIN numbers, and if we find that it's mostly middle school students, we could do something where I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was
Ignace,
sorry.
Yeah.
There were a few days that their machine was also not working. So the cafeteria workers were writing down numbers by hand, which definitely added to it. I'm not saying that was the full reason. So that's gotten a lot better. But yes, I think maybe preparing them the middle school kids a little better next year would help the transition. So.
Okay.
Well, I wondered about even giving them a copy of a card with their PIN number on it or something. If it's middle schoolers and they're still forgetting them, I think if you guys could put your eye on that and see how prevalent it is, that might be helpful. Another suggestion really was about posting the menu ahead of time, having it pop up on the smart boards in the morning, like having teachers. Andrew's talked about maybe creating a bookmark or something, and then kids could see early on in the day what was going to be in what line. So I think, there are a couple ideas out there we can think about.
Small incremental changes
Yeah.
can add up over time.
How long is the PIN number?
4 digits.
4 digits.
Really? And it is the same PIN number from elementary school.
And as parents, every year, we do the email at the end of the school year that says, this is your kid's number, remember to have them.
Whatever.
Practice it and
I
do the whole
my
thing.
kids, they pass.
Their cell phones, they probably have.
They just stored it in their cell phone on the notes. That's what I do for the past code years.
Recognition.
Yeah, right.
Mark, I did forget one thing.
Okay, go ahead.
We also talked about AI.
And you think we probably need an AI policy, which I believe Andrew is gonna be working on getting that going, so. Eventually, we end
Doesn't
up.
that, remember we took the training at MASC, didn't it contradict what they say, that they had advised us not to have a policy?
Well,
Am I
you'll hear more,
remembering that
there'll be more in the fall at their conference, but now it's starting to evolve.
Yeah.
So that's what I think you were looking at. What you're
Well, that's
looking
what I was
at.
gonna ask.
You got the
Change.
you got the academic integrity one part, and then what was it, the data part,
Privacy, data, right?
potential leak.
Well, the AI tends to gather up data on everybody, and they could gather things like the grades, or the student grades, or IEP scores, or reports, all kinds of private data. So he's found a Google, well, he could probably describe it better, but there's a Google AI program that protects us from that. So I don't know if you want to comment on that, Andrew, but.
Yeah, sure. Google has both its public product and an education workspace product, and they have now offered their education workspace AI specifically to students. So it doesn't gather any of the data, and there's no human interaction with any of the data that you would normally find on any public AI. So it's all kind of siloed. So all of our data stays here, but we get the benefit of using the artificial intelligence.
Oh, that's great.
Good, thank you, sir. Policy will be reformed the first Monday in October, correct? We'll be meeting. Student services?
We had a meeting tonight. I mean, Jill pretty much covered everything. Couple of things she did say, though, she seems a little bit more at ease this year. She's got a new middle school teacher in the therapeutic class. And she's fully hired in speech this year. So that's a, good thing for her.
Yeah, it's good.
She just seemed very calm. And the kids put a name to that program in New Braintree, New Horizons Academy.
I love it.
So I'll have to visit. I'd like to see it.
Well, that's
They're
gonna-
using the cast.
Yeah, that's gonna come up. We're gonna talk
Yeah.
about it. Yeah, visits. Yeah, cool.
They talked a little bit about the lunch there too, so she'll work on that.
Right.
Ongoing
But the
theme.
lines would be shorter.
The lines are
Unfinished business, regional agreement. Any,
I don't
Colleen
think any
mentioned something.
further updates, we'll wait, until the meeting and try to get this wrapped up, and just for the towns, they often have fall meetings that hopefully we could get on agendas, because all 5 towns would need to approve the regional agreement for it to take effect, so hopefully we can get the final edits and draft
And meet.
and get them out to the townspeople to vote.
Quick question, is that something that is then kind of in the making? I know that for OCAM, there was talk, I know Claire, who was part of the committee for the lease review agreement, had spoken on a exit clause. So I don't know if is it going to be just one lease agreement straight across for the 5 towns, or?
This is for the regional.
Oh, regional, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. Apologies.
The leases have not begun yet.
Yep.
We need to work on the regional agreement and get that finished, and then the
Apologies.
leases will be next.
Yeah, that would be next, and we'll work through the central office as well with that.
Okay.
And that's why the discussion of the regional task force is really trying to dig down to whatever. So right now, your last meeting was what, in May, June?
Yes, May.
May. So now that comes back, there's still, and then, we're okay. But we're gonna see whatever changes there are, and then we'll deal with the next piece.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Claire?
Just following up with what Maribel said, I've been after the selectmen to make a decision about which way they want to go with the lease. And Colleen and I had said that I'm after them in that respect, and they had asked me to put on the next selectmen's meeting agenda, which I sent to Maribel, that they will take a vote on what they want to do. So at least when we come back for the leases, we will have the preference that our selectmen want for you.
Great,
Okay.
thank you for doing that.
I hope.
Work through. We'll work through this, absolutely, all the 5 times. So stay tuned
So
and
stay tuned, we hope to schedule the meeting
Colleen,
as
do you-
soon as we can.
hear from lawyer.
Yes, we've been in touch nonstop.
But I'm
Had a
saying when
meeting with
from the
Desi in person.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we have another one scheduled for this week. We're hoping that it wraps up. We're really hoping it wraps up.
Public comment? Do I have anybody?
No.
School committee concerns or accolades? I just have a couple. One, thank you for running the meeting in August. And I apologize, Abigail Rigney, the new principal at the Farmville High School, she also was there in August with us, with a parent and a student as well, and students. So when we went to North Brookfield. So I apologize that I didn't say something earlier.
Good.
Just wanted to say thank you for, you know, I met you then.
Yes, yeah.
Mark,
Yes.
just to Jess, could you, once we get scheduled unified games, could you just like send that out to
Yes.
the school committee members?
Of course. I can actually probably go online and get it for you right now.
Okay.
I think they only have a handful of home games. They don't play a tremendous number of home games, so she'll send it right away so you don't miss it.
Okay, thanks.
They go to Granby?
I don't believe so.
Okay, new business. Superintendent's evaluation. Before I do that, committee members, school committee visits to schools, that item. I just wanted to share that last year. I know Colleen set up times and with the principals and everything else, and you know, people have busy schedules, whatever, but this year we'd like to do Colleen and myself, and if Deb can come too, and then any school committee members, we want to be able to go. You mentioned you want to go to New Horizons and things like that. We want to be able to do some visits well. Some people were able to make it last year, some of them weren't, and then, you know, just wanted to be able to offer that as superintendent has done right along. So opportunities for us as well.
Absolutely interested in that, yeah.
Yeah, it's great to walk through and see, you know, what we talk about in action and see the kids and be able to ask questions and, you know, you have nice one-on-one time with the administrator. You know, you learn a lot more about the programming and the lunch and we always like to visit.
And then just from a school committee dates, there's gonna be a couple of changes going forward because we were able to meet last week, kind of pushes things out. You have the next school committee schedule would be in October 16th. It would have been October 16th, but that is the big meeting in Ocam with the battery perspective.
Everyone, yeah.
So to have perspective of that, we'd like to see if we can do the meeting on October 15th on Wednesday, because we pushed our meeting to the 18th for our September meeting for our school committee. But we could do Wednesday, the 15th, and then then in November, it would have been on the 13th. There's several school committee members that are down the Cape at the conference. So that would be a perspective that we're trying to see if we can move it to November 20th. So I wanted to give you a heads up that that's what we're looking at. I hope that we can make those and see if we can do that. And if there is a problem, we'll make an adjustment. I do want to say thank you. I know in the summer, we weren't able to make those meetings all the time, like the July when we had to move, things like that. But we all do what we can do, and I appreciate everyone's attendance. Before we go to the superintendent's evaluation and then goals, district goals, I just want to say thank you for school committee members that over the years, we've done some training for roles and responsibilities, how to do effective leadership, how to work together. Possibly there's another one that I want to look at, maybe at like goal setting, that we do work with the superintendent, but is there something else that might be beneficial for us as a committee to continue to work forward? That might be something. I know that you'll do charting the course, Gail, but also what are the perspectives that we have as well? A committee of 15 is a large committee, and we're very effective, and I want us to continue to be that way.
Yeah.
So all of us, I think, feel that same way. I'm not going to say much on this. I'm already done enough talking. And I know I'll turn it over to the superintendent for district goals, but in your packet, they have the superintendent's evaluation summary for this past year. Her first year as the formal superintendent, not as the interim. You have everything here. Again, at that time, we were down 2 school committee members. So instead of 15, it would have been a 13-member obligation. 12 out of the 13 submitted, and we had 2 vacancies at the time. Everything is there. The only thing I just want to say, aside from doing the ratings between a 1 to 4, in essence, you're thinking of from ineffective to effective to also right along. Everything is outlined there between 3s and 4s and the language that people wrote. If you don't mind, I'd like to at least I know we have it on record. We have it in our drive. It's public record. We have it here. And we will be voting both this piece and as we formally accept, as well as the superintendent's goals for this year as well. That's our last items tonight. But I just wanted you to, as you see the statements that have said, you've seen it. I really liked that second one. Colleen has grown into the role of superintendent with great confidence, energy, and leadership. The partnership with the towns is much improved through your efforts with transparency, collaboration, outreach. The relationship with the staff and students is outstanding. I look forward to the next year to see impacts of the new programming and curriculum and your vision for the students to come to reality. Our district's future is very encouraging and bright as a result of your leadership and dedication. Job well done, thank you. There are others, I can keep reading them all, I'm not going to. And I also like on the last page, that I like the first one. I have seen discussions around needs and concerns develop into programming. That's because she's a listener and can be able to problem solve and that. So I know Colleen, you know what I mean, want to sit here and listen to all accolades, all of that. But you
Actually, the
continue-
next comment is she listens and connects.
And her
Her
superpowers.
superpowers, yeah.
So we can read them all. It's on record. Thank you for your comments. This is our school committee member, our team. So any other comment on regards to the evaluation from school committee members for last year?
You know, all these bullets here are great and we all, you know, put thought into them, but the one I like the best, and I don't know who wrote it, is she's doing a nice job.
Yep.
See, that encapsulates it all.
I thought maybe it was Dr. Allen. I don't know.
That was what I was thinking, but.
Sometimes he's very short words too. Okay, so is there a motion to accept the evaluation of the superintendent, Muhas, for the 24-25 school year? So moved. Second. And seconded Peggy. Any further comments? All in favor? Opposed? And thank you. And the last item is the district goals, which is really 2 of the school committee goals, but it is the superintendent's goals. But it's ours. We work together on that. Superintendent.
Thank you for your feedback. So when I present the goals tonight, I want to be clear that these are draft goals. So if there's something that you look at that you have a question about, or you think we need to, you want to give me feedback in any way, I'm open to that. And maybe add some things along the way. We're in year 3 of our strategic plan. So all of our focus areas will be the same. This is our final year. One of our goals will be to create our next 3-year strategic plan, although I didn't write that one down. So you're going to be familiar with the language. The first goal is around ensuring that our staff, students, parents, community have equitable opportunities to positively connect to the Quabbin Regional School District. So the specific goal is that going to be by June 2026, 95% of our stakeholders will report feeling that they know what is happening in Quabbin and they are satisfied with the experiences and opportunities. The action steps. Each year, I'm trying to delve a little bit deeper. So I have a commitment to calling any families who have chosen choice out of the district. So I'll be embarking on that as soon as you approve the goals. We will also offer an anonymous survey for people who are uncomfortable speaking on the phone. I have a plan to have 5 parent advisory council meetings this school year. And that parent advisory council will also set some goals for ourselves and our work. We have our 4 municipal meetings to work with the towns. Last year, we struggled to get Barry to attend. We sent them sort of an invite trying to see what the best day is. We're waiting to hear, but we've kind of landed on some dates. I do Barry Gazette, district-wide newsletters on a regular basis. This year, we're adding the Worcester Telegram and Gazette. So they have reached out. Ella did not share, but she was interviewed today by the Worcester Telegram and Gazette as a student athlete. She is already speaking to MIT about a possible swim opportunity. Yeah, she's an impressive young lady, so it'll be really
She's pretty humble.
fun
not
to see.
mention any of
Yes,
that.
yes. So the way that I would measure this is through surveys, so feedback surveys and also focus groups. So that is the first goal. Any feedback on that?
95% one. So
Yeah.
obviously you realize this is a two-way goal. There's you and then there's everybody else. And if everybody else, not everybody else, but if the other party doesn't respond, it doesn't fall on you. I mean, you could put total effort out there 100%. But if you have people that just aren't playing the game with you, it hits your 95% goal. I think it's a very ambitious goal and it would be great to do it, but you may do all you can, you're still not going to get what you want to get.
I believe in aiming high, so I'll say that. I believe in goals, that goals should be high.
Yeah.
And if I fall at, lower, then I've tried to get to the 95. But the other thing I want to say about this is none of these goals are just calling goals. These are goals that are also part of our school improvement plans and all the work we do at the school level as well. So there will be multiple opportunities to increase communication and collaboration, and I strive to get to that 95%. So I think we can do it.
Maybe we can, as a school committee, maybe we get, remember last year, went to the training
Oh, yes.
about, maybe Quabbin has a table at various things and we represent ourselves out in the community. Maybe we talked about that. Maybe that's something that there may be a member here that may
Maybe
want to.
we should do more than talk about it, right?
Would you like me to add that to the action?
No.
I feel like that's what you're suggesting.
No. I'm just suggesting that we talked about it and maybe we might want to go a little deeper in looking at that as, I don't know. Maybe there'll be a school committee member or two that may want to jump on this.
Yeah, I think I would like to add to this as well, right? Because clearly, I think you reference, if you set yourself to a goal, 95%, then you're gonna strive to meet that goal. And I think I was curious to understand when you were setting this, were you setting up with multiple members of your staff, or is it something you sit down, you kind of come up with yourself, or something that was inspired by other people, right? Because ultimately, we're gonna keep you accountable of those goals, and those goals also reflect us here. We need to actually kind of help support this, in essence, front facing, to ensure parents can actually communicate and understand that what you're trying to do is not just for face value, not just an email, but at least you're there. Personally, I think you are doing that. Obviously, I gotta say, my interaction with you played a huge role into me getting more involved into the school. So I think it's gonna be fine there. But to your point, I think we should support that, all of us, right? Front facing of the community, making sure that their voice are heard, and capture that information, not just through a survey, but by communication and getting involved on the ground with people to ensure that we can actually meet those goals. Because I think sometimes sending an email, we'll just read it, not with the survey, and this is just how the survey, right? But if you're actually collaborating and interacting, you're more likely to fill out that survey.
Right. So the goal stems from 3 years ago when we were doing our strategic plan, our feedback around, there were questions that we use on a survey that we will continue to use again so we can compare over time. But there were questions on, did you understand the curriculum that your child was using? Did you know what was happening in your child's classroom? How satisfied are you with the Quabbin educational experience? And I don't want to misspeak about the percentages, but it was quite low. Shelley may remember. So as an admin team, we went through all of that feedback. And so this has been a standing goal of mine. And again, as I said, it trickles down into our schools, the work that our administrators do, and all the decisions that we make. This year, one of the things we're going to do that will help address this goal that is part of the middle high school work is that we always hold parent-teacher conferences at the elementary level. But we've tried to increase opportunities for parents to connect with teachers. And that's something that the admin team is working with some teacher leaders on upcoming to see if we can increase those opportunities during November. They also expanded their open houses the past couple of years. So it is a group effort. And I really appreciate, I do think the power of the school committee is really important. The families when you're out and about, and I think doing something on a regular basis, whether you set up a table or you come to a football game and you talk to folks is really helpful. So I appreciate that. So the second goal is safe and supportive district culture that promotes diversity, equity, inclusion. One of the things that we previously have identified is in our disciplinary data that, we want to increase positive behavior throughout our district and in all of our schools. And B, we want to ensure that none of our underrepresented groups are being consequenced at a higher rate than their peers. So that's what this goal is all about. And it is that we will increase expected student behaviors, so positive behaviors by 20%. And we'll do that through the use of data review cycles and tier 2 strategies. This will look a little bit different, in each of our schools, but we will be collecting data at the elementary schools using a Swiss database. We're getting baseline data right now. And at the middle school, they're going to be implementing, they have a pilot team that is working on common expected behaviors. And so we're looking to track that data as well.
Any questions? Good.
The third goal, and we talked about this a lot last year, and it really was a large part of our kickoff of our school year. And I'm going to say you are going to find multiple goals in this section because it is the crux of our work. It is the most probably important thing that we do. It's really around the teaching and learning. So this is the idea that we're going to create and expand differentiated learning opportunities, support the needs of all of our students and our staff. We have reported back to you each year on our course failures, especially for our 9th graders. So one of our goals is to decrease the number of the course failure rates by 10%. I'm actually going to change that language because it's not student failures, it's course failures. And the way we're going to do that is, again, using some student data review teams. We've started these right up through grade 8, but this year our high school staff does have some common planning time that we're hoping to utilize. We are working on implementing differentiated learning in all of our classrooms. We're providing professional development, job-embedded coaching. And we also talked a little bit earlier about offering some Saturday sessions for our high school students. Jill and I have been kind of spitballing ideas about what to call it. We called it Power Up because we didn't want it to be a recovery or an intervention thing, but just like while they're in that course, keeping them right where they need to be so they don't get behind. And also we are seeing, last year we did a lot of work that we made some strides in our chronic rates of absenteeism. However, this past year, we've slid back a little bit. So chronic absenteeism is students who are absent for 18 days or more. And I think our best rate of chronic absenteeism is 15 and our highest is 27%, which is, as you can imagine, if students are missing that many days of school, then
27% of what students?
27% of students are chronically absent. Yes.
18 days or more.
18 days or more.
18 days or more.
So that kind of goes to goal number one, which I was thinking too, right? Because, well, I guess is the question though. I mean, have we have enough drill down data to understand why we have such high number of students being absent?
Yes, and it's complicated. So.
Been going on for a few years. too.
Yeah, there's sort of this surface level of parents are keeping kids home when they're sick, right? And there's a lot of illness. And since COVID, they typically may keep them home longer than they did in the past. So that is sort of a re-education that we're kind of working with families when to send their children to school. But the guidelines still say, don't send them until they're 24 hours fever free. And so some of the kids are, I mean, I had COVID last week myself, to be honest with you. And there were, you know, I did not lose my fever for 3 days. So, you know, there's that aspect of it. There's also this idea of mental health. So a lot of families are reporting and students are reporting that they need, you know, a mental health day, that things feel overwhelming to them and they need a day for mental health. We also have some families who select to take their student away for vacation because it is cheaper to do so when it is not a school vacation week. So there are multiplying factors that we're looking at. The admin team did work on a new protocol this year. We have a social worker who has an expansive background in working with families where absenteeism is challenging. I can speak to just a student that we were talking about earlier today. He has a history of being chronically absent, and it is not, you know, I think there's this sort of misunderstanding that maybe parents are not supportive in this. It is not that his parent does not want to send him and get him to school every day. He just can't. And I know that might sound unusual to some of us, but if, you know, the child is laying in bed and refusing to get on the bus and time goes by and a parent has to get to work, sometimes they're walking out the door. And if the student is old enough, they're leaving them home because they can't get them to school. So it's complicated. Probably not exactly the answer you're looking for.
But also too, it's not, please don't misread my statement. This is a chronic problem throughout the country and the state. And even to the point a few years ago, DESE was trying to use it as a measure with districts, and they realized, whoops, we can't be doing this.
Oh, no, they're using
They're
it.
still using it. They're still using it. Okay, they're still using it.
Yeah.
So it's complicated, but everyone's engaged. Everybody's involved in it to do what's right for kids to come to school, including alternative programs and other ways of getting kids to access school.
Yeah, it was one of the reasons, one of the driving factors behind starting the alternative learning program, that a lot of students that get behind in credits, it can be because of absenteeism and so on and so forth. But it is, you know, there's the other factors, right, around school avoidance and learning feeling difficult for students, all of those things. And if you're sort of abreast on the news right now, there was just a headline, I guess I'll call it, that the Department of Education is encouraging schools to basically pull back mental health support. They feel that it is inhibiting students versus, you know, helping them. And we do work really hard to think about building kids' resiliency, right? And holding them accountable, but in a way that also makes them supported that they want to be in school. So I don't know, anyone out there who wants to chime in on that, you guys are living it every day, but it's difficult.
So for the kids who have chronic absentees who are approaching their senior year for graduation, what is the percentage or a ballpark that actually are able to move, you know, actually graduate? You know, are you running into out of that 27%, so many are not graduating, or?
It's definitely a mix. I mean, we have students who have been high honor students who are chronically absent because they've learned, but they don't necessarily need to be in school to keep the grades up, right? So I think, like Colleen said, it's just so complicated that there's just, everybody has their own profile. But you know, we do have kids, I mean, the reason why we have the alternative program is because we do have students who are 2 years plus behind in their academics and getting, you know, credits towards graduation, and part of that is because of absenteeism. So they are absent so much that they're not meeting those credits, they're not graduating.
Another thing that we see that I had forgotten to mention, but we see a lot of hospitalizations. And sometimes those hospitalizations can be 90 days or, you know.
And they get tutoring during that time, but you know, you try, I mean, think of middle school, high school, especially bringing them back into school after they've been out of school for, you know, 3, 4, or 5 weeks. They can't just go back into class.
Right, and I guess that's what
pick
I'm
up where they
asking, is
left off,
like, do
right?
they bet, if it's like a one-time, 1 year, do they eventually can catch up, or is this, you know, it just
They-
depends, I guess, it's
they
a case by
can, it
case.
depends on the kid. I do think we end up losing kids to programs like the GET program at, you know, like the Mount and SIG, because they can catch up faster. So I think it's different for every kid and what their options are. Some families don't have the option of that, they don't have transportation to get them there. So I think it's just, it's very student specific.
We're gonna continue to keep staying on top of that and try everything we can.
We are. Yeah. Anything on that one, feedback, tweaks you'd like to see? More data you would like us to look at? Happy to think through any of that. We'll keep talking about it on the way, but if you think of something, don't hesitate to send it to me. Under the same goal is around our course offerings and ensuring that those were in alignment with our student interest in our future planning. We've begun implementing the MyCap. We've heard us talk about this a little bit. Process. We use student interest surveys. Last year, we did a lot of work on aligning both our AP and IB classes so that more kids could join a class and then in the second year, you know, get AP credit year 1 and IBHL credit year 2. We'll be reviewing our course catalog. Right now, the middle high school is going to be forming a scheduling committee, and we're going to continue to explore opportunities for Chapter 74 programs. That's something that I've talked a lot about in the past couple of years. And those will be measured through student focus groups and surveys. The last one here is implementing. If you've been with us for the past couple of years, you know how much new curriculum. Each year we go through curriculum review processes. We have adopted new literacy curriculum, new science curriculum, new math curriculum at the middle high school, and also new history and social studies curriculum. So based on that, we plan to implement new curriculum strategies and professional development to ensure that our students experience increased hands-on and inquiry-based learning, resulting in student interest, higher student interest and achievement. We're continuing professional development, job-embedded coaching. We've been asked to be a district showcase for Open SciEd, which we're really excited about. And this year we will run a curriculum review team for math for our elementary levels. The way we will measure that is our administrators, we do walkthroughs together, and each building administrator does walkthroughs. And we'll also be looking at our student achievement data. And so the final goal that I had to put there, because I feel like this is a standing goal, but is around our budget. And so, you know, developing a budget that improves student achievement, is efficient, ensures financial stability, and fosters a safe, inclusive, positive culture for students and staff. This is something that we strive for each year, and I can't stress enough, and I think that Stacy would agree with me. One of the things that we are most worried about and most thinking about is that financial stability as we enter. We know this is going to be a very challenging budget year. And we also know from attending the legislative sessions that it is unlikely to change in the next couple of years. And You know, we don't want to live year to year. We need to make sure that when we're looking at our budget, that we're being really, really thoughtful about ensuring that should we have 9 C cuts, we have, you know, money, a plan to sustain the district in the best possible way. So I didn't know what to put there for a measure, I'll be honest. At first, I wanted to put a past budget in all 5 towns, but then I thought, well, maybe a past budget doesn't mean that we didn't do all those things.
It's always
So
a good goal.
I'll keep thinking about what those measures can and should be to add those onto those, but.
So with the framework, we have a framework here for the goals. I think that we could probably give a vote of support of this framework. Draft, finalized would come once. But I think, do we, as a committee, feel comfortable supporting this framework for the superintendent's goals? Is there a motion to accept as essentially drafted? Second? Second. Any further comment? All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Unanimous. There's no collective, there's no executive session.
Move later.
Move to adjourn. Second.
No. We have to respect the man who's not here.
She did quickly. Who seconded it?
Sure, I'll second.
All right, adjourn.